Many have said it. South Africa's public health sector is ill. Some have even gone as far as claiming hospitals are no longer places for healing, but places of death, even when it could have been avoided. And hospital staff are complaining they're under too much pressure. But the health ministers assuring the country the NHI is the panacea to all these problems.
We can still do a lot, even in the absence of the numbers of specialists that are being reported. Then, using a referral pattern, a referral system, you can then get the cover from the specialists in the nearby metropole or district or center in a way that would not compromise the health services. So it is something that can be managed, and until we've got a full structured national health insurance that will ensure that there is adequate distribution of services, then of course you will then be able to deal with it.
He says this doesn't mean downplaying work that still needs to be done. Zweli Mkhize also believes the alleged racial profiling of doctors by medical aid schemes will be eradicated by NHI.
Going forward into the future, there will not be a need for any kind of profiling of that nature. We will not be operating on the basis of racial description of the doctors or health providers. However, we are hoping to get to a point where national health insurance will actually embrace people who are professionals coming from various disciplines, nursing, medical, physiotherapy and so on, to deal with issues of prevention, health promotion, rehabilitation, palliative care, and all of this together, including as well specialist care.
The NHI bill is before Parliament and must still be debated in the National Assembly and National Council of Provinces. Masehora Hlacha, Johannesburg.
When I went to the office, they tell me I'm positive, I was smoking dark.
EFF Krugersdorp branch member Bianca Lee Grosset took an interest in the case.
They've opened a case against the child, which is mind-boggling on all levels, because you cannot charge a child off a urine test.
His mother says he was charged at a police station and put into a diversion program.
I thought maybe they are going to warn him about how drugs can be harmful. Later did I know that it's a way, that signature, it will put him to prison.
The boy and 3 others who tested positive for cannabis at the Pro Practicum Vocational School were later sentenced to 6 months at this child detention center in Mogale City. Inside the facility, he was allegedly beaten and strangled repeatedly.
The same guy who hit him on Friday, he hit him again, this time to such an extent that his face was swollen and he has some bruise.
In terms of the Schools Act, children found guilty of drug use at school may not be subjected to the criminal justice system, and detention centers like this one are for children who have committed serious crimes like rape and murder, not dacha smoking. The 4 boys were eventually released after 77 days when the chief magistrate at the Krugersdorp court asked the High Court to review the matter.
A 15-year-old got sentenced in a facility that has awaiting trial prisoners that are waiting to turn 18 because their crimes are so bad they don't want to try them as a juvenile.
It's not legal for children to use or possess cannabis, but that is currently under review in the South Gauteng High Court.
It's expected the case will be heard in the coming months by the Constitutional Court.
18-year-old Sipenati Mpambani was once a gang member. He was beaten to death in front of his Crossroad home a month ago. But his body still lies in Salt River morgue. It's situations like this, along with the high number of gang-related killings, that's putting the squeeze on the city's morgues. Almost 500 unidentified bodies are being stored in refrigerated shipping containers at the Salt River and Tygerberg mortuaries.
This time last year we had 390 cases that were admitted, but now in this year we've now gone over to 469 cases, so that's about a 79 case increase just from 2018 to 2019.
And space isn't the only problem. There also aren't enough pathologists to perform autopsies.
We're running on 10 pathologists here at the Tygerberg facility. If you take those 10, they've got other functions that they have to perform, like typing up the post-mortem reports. They also need to attend court and basically give evidence as to the cause of death.
There are plans to build a new mortuary, which is expected to accommodate another 150 bodies. But if gang violence continues the way it has, this too won't be enough. Nobesutu, Cape Town. Killings in many areas on the Cape Flats have continued despite the deployment of the army. But in Bonte-Heerville, it's a different story, with the murder rate dropping to 0 in July.
Between January and the end of June, we lost 44 people to gang-related violence in this area. That 44 people that were lost was, one, because of gangsterism, but two, because of a lack of visible policing.
Angus Mackenzie says since then, the community has been working with the law enforcement officials.
We had what is known as the neighborhood safety team, which we then implemented in the Bondieville area on the 1st of July. There was 100 officers that was brought in, and the neighborhood safety team is but one component of the project.
Residents are appealing to authorities to make this initiative a permanent one.
I'm living here for almost 32 years, and it was quite hectic, really. But since they are here, it's a bit quiet.
It should continue because it is making a change.
Despite the danger, the Neighborhood Watch says it won't give up.
2 of our members, they were shot in the legs, but they are still active.
Meanwhile, Mackenzie says over 60 arrests have been made since the initiative launched last month, and a number of illegal firearms have been confiscated during raids. Nobesutu, Cape Town.
Outside, it looks like an ordinary house, but behind it is the site of a gruesome murder, a back room turned into a shallow grave.
Johanna Sono, a friend of the deceased, says she went to find out her whereabouts from her boyfriend after she was last seen alive in June. The boyfriend reportedly told Sono the deceased found a job and is staying with the employer. Suspicious of this, Sono continued to prod until he allegedly confessed. Search and rescue teams were sent to the scene and found the body of a woman. Gauteng Community Safety MEC Faith Mazibugo says there's something seriously wrong in Vlakfontein.
What saddens is that all these cases are actually happening here in Vlakfontein. So in other words, there might be a copycat of some sort, or people are copying from one another. But worst of all, we may be living with serial killers amongst our communities. But because you never know, you only discover later on.
The community says they need a local police station to report crimes.
We'll help deploy a satellite police station here or a safety kiosk starting from tomorrow.
The 28-year-old suspect will be appearing in the Protea Magistrate's Court on Tuesday. Slinda Lomasigan, Vlakfontein, south of Johannesburg.
It was at this Shell petrol station in Centurion where the winning ticket was bought. It will make its owner 23.8 million rand richer, if only that person comes forward. The ticket expires next month, so whoever it is needs to hurry up.
This is our largest unclaimed jackpot so far, and on the 19th of September 2019 it will be the largest unclaimed jackpot to be unclaimed. We're hoping that our winner will come forth by then. They played with a 30 rand ticket, and it was a quick pick selection, so they didn't select their own numbers, and the ticket was purchased in Shell Amberfield in Centurion.
And it's not the only winnings to go unclaimed.
We've got over 250 million rands in unclaimed prizes, and this varies from that 5 rand all the way up to the 500 rand. I think a lot of people don't look at their tickets just because it's not a jackpot winning ticket. They don't seem to go and check and go claim.
So what happens if the winner of the 23 million doesn't claim the prize? Well, the winnings will be donated to the Participants Fund. This is a trust fund that assists NGOs and NPOs who apply for funding from the lottery. So time is running out. Tick, tock. Dideros Lepe, Johannesburg.
A simple big pen that will set you back roughly around 8 rand, but this ordinary pen is about to create magic.
Meet 24-year-old Themba Mkangeli, an aspiring self-taught artist who uses the mighty pen to create the most incredible inked portraits.
It started when I was young. When I get free time at school, I start drawing every time. When I get time at home, I keep on drawing. The only tool I have at school, it was only a pen. So that's where it started, because I didn't have money to buy material like pencil, oil paintings.
Themba pens every emotion and all the finer perfections of the human form with meticulous attention to detail.
When I started drawing, I have to have a new pen, because when the ink pens comes down, it becomes more darker. So I can't start with the older pen. Yeah, I use like cross-hatching when I start, and then after I use like different techniques, dots, scribbling. As you see on the heads, the detail is different from the face.
He was recently spotted by an exhibitor, and today his work is displayed at the Legacy Collection Gallery in Cape Town. But this artist has even bigger dreams.
I also want to own my own gallery, so especially in Kasi, in my township, so that I can serve as a mentor for young kids.
Themba adds that the most important attributes to creating these masterpieces is patience and passion, something he clearly has an abundance of. Tanya Neft, Cape Town.